This week, I flew 5,750 miles across the Atlantic with British Airways. I battled a late departure out of Rio de Janeiro, faced a pretty forgettable meal, but somehow managed one of the best sleeps I've ever had in economy. I'm in World Traveller, BA's long-haul economy cabin. So how did it measure up? Well, let's get started and find out. Welcome back to Rio de Janeiro International Airport here in Brazil. We're flying back today with British Airways back to London Heathrow, and I'm sad to say we're off to a trio of bad starts. Firstly, not got a window seat today, sitting in the middle, which isn't a major issue. I'll still try and get as much as I can for you, but obviously a little disappointing. Second issue, the flight is late. We're currently about 2.5 hours delayed taking off because this is a link flight which comes from Buenos Aires onto Rio, then onto London Heathrow. So the start of the flight was delayed, so that's going to delay us into our journey back to Heathrow. So currently about 2.5 hours late. And thirdly, we've had an aircraft swap. We're no longer flying back on the brand new Airbus A350. We're actually flying back today on a very old 777-200, which was my aircraft when I used to be crew based at Gatwick. So it is what it is. It's not a great start to this video, considering I'd sold it as the Airbus A350 when I first set off on this trip all the way back at Heathrow before we went to Madrid. But it is what it is. We take it in our stride. Let's get inside to that lounge, chill out, and I'll show you the journey as we go through. British Airways departs from Zone F here at Rio's Galileo Airport. Now, as this is an outstation, staff aren't available until around 3 hours before departure. So if you're thinking of arriving early, you might want to hold off. We did, and ended up with a fair bit of waiting. Now, check-in opened exactly on time, and we were still able to take advantage of our remaining British Airways Club status to use the business class desks. A final little perk before we lose our status at the end of this trip. And yes, the suitcase came in at 22.45 kilograms. I do pride myself on efficient packing. The flight was running late though, by about 2 hours at this stage, but British Airways issued light refreshment vouchers at 40 reals per person, which was a thoughtful gesture, even though technically they're not required to offer anything until a 4-hour delay, so that was quite nice. The vouchers could only be used landside, and the only cafe accepting them was Cafe Baduco. We picked up 3 empanadas, a bottle of water, and a bottle of fresh lime juice, just enough to tide us over. Security, once again, was a breeze. Now, Galileo continues to impress me for its efficiency. We've had smooth experiences here every single time. We had 2 options for lounges today in the international part of Terminal 2. These were the Plaza Premium Lounge and the Gol Smiles Lounge, and in the interests of keeping things local, we decided to head to Gol. So in the Gol Smiles Lounge, it's pretty nice in here actually. It's by no means a premium lounge, but it's certainly a really good space to while away a few hours. Wall-to-ceiling windows, you've got exceptional views of the apron, which is great for a bit of a geek like me, and there seems to be a great array of alcoholic, non-alcoholic drinks on offer, as well as hot and cold food, so that ticks all the boxes. And when you've got a bit of a delay like this, in a hot country like Brazil, you know, it's 28, 29 degrees, it's nice to be in an area that's air-conditioned, just to relax. Suddenly all the other things you worry about go out the window. Air conditioning and a cold drink. We're on to a winner. There's a wide variety of seating options available, including open plan sofas, armchairs, elevated seating zones, and private workstations that come with power outlets. A small children's area is also tucked away in the corner, featuring a racing car simulator. Yes, that's a new one to me. Wi-Fi was available throughout the lounge and impressively fast, around 50 megabytes down. You'll also find plenty of departure boards to stay updated, plus a private bar at the far end. Self-service fridges are stocked with beers and soft drinks, and opposite there was ready-made chicken and vegetable sandwiches, cheeses and cold cuts, as well as a salad bowl with dressing, and then the hot food in the middle, which was all self-service. The hot food included teriyaki chicken, chickpea and coconut curry, roasted vegetables, rice, garlic bread, and soft dinner rolls. For dessert there was a strawberry and guava cake and a chocolate oh no, just an empty plate. Now, I kept things really simple and just went for the curry with rice, and I know it doesn't look much, but it was actually really tasty. I grabbed a bit of bread on the side, which was a little bit stale, and yes, 2 cans of Stella. Don't judge, I do venture beyond the big name beers as well. My husband tried the cake and said it was alright, but the little brigadeiro, that's Brazilian chocolate fudge truffles to me and you, were exceptionally good. So much so, we kept going back to get some more. So we've been sitting in the Goal Smiles Lounge now in the International Departure Terminal here at Rio de Janeiro International for about an hour and a half, nearly 2 hours. We have word that our flight from Buenos Aires to here, which is the same aircraft we pick up back to London Heathrow, is airborne and about to land in about half an hour. One of the most frustrating things is all the screens in the airport here show that the flight is delayed until at least 1900. The British Airways app shows 1835 and hasn't updated at all, it's stayed at that time. So I contacted British Airways live chat on their website and they've told me to go off the airport screens because they're much more reliable than the information the app and the website has. Doesn't fill you with much faith. So we just kicked back and kept one eye on the app and the other on the departure screens, neither of which ever seemed to match up, by the way. Eventually though, in the distance we caught sight of the BA 777 touching down, and for all the inconsistencies with this airline, there's still something comforting about seeing the BA tail fin when you're thousands of miles from home. Hi guys, today's video sponsor is, drumroll please, me. Today I'm pushing my own merchandise for a bit of a change. Now I'll get through it super quick because I appreciate most people get annoyed by these adverts in videos. I am one of those people as well, so I will try and do it all in under 2 minutes. So I created a range of travel merchandise that's hopefully going to allow you to travel better and travel well. I've put things together, but having flown for years and years as cabin crew and also travelling myself and with my husband extensively across the world, we often know sometimes if you're flying in economy, it can be a bit of a chore. You often get to your destination feeling groggy and rubbish, or you struggle to control your temperature on board. 1 minute you're too hot, next minute you're too cold. Now you know why I'm an advocate for those air fans above you when you board the aircraft. But ultimately, my travel range is premium quality, but also subsidised massively. A lot of these items I've subsidised by more than 60%, so I brought the cost right down. It's not about making money, all it does is allow me to earn a tiny bit. We're talking 10 to 20% profit margins, and that money gets instantly reinvested back into flights, hotels, travel experiences that I can record and film and review for you guys on my channel. So all you need to do is head to www.jameswarrentravel.co.uk to check out the range of merch. There's hoodies, there's flight pyjamas, there's mugs, there's wine tumblers, there's sew-on badges. I'm so drunk, I've had about 24 Caprinas in this lounge, so excuse me if this isn't making much sense. With anything you buy, if you buy 9 items, I'll give you 9 credits in any future videos on my YouTube channel. So keep your eyes peeled, especially for those guys that have already bought something already. Your names are in the credits, raring to go. Now I said I'd do this under 2 minutes, I've got about 10 seconds left, so I'll wrap it all up, but I just want to be genuinely sincere when I say that if you do buy anything, I really, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate it, because it allows me to continue doing what I love and also bringing great travel content to you, which hopefully, in turn, you love too. Thanks a lot, now let's get back to the video. Boarding was relatively smooth, despite a touch of that classic we're boarding but not really energy. This 777 features 2 economy cabins, and we were in the smaller forward one, which has just 5 rows. It definitely feels a bit more private up here, so if you're flying this layout, try and snag a seat in this section. BA's World Traveller seat on this aircraft offers 31 inches of pitch and around 6 inches of recline in a 343 layout. You've got an overhead reading light, but no air vent, a tray table with a separate cup holder, and legroom that's fairly typical for long haul these days. Entertainment-wise, each seat comes with a 10.1-inch HD Panasonic screen, a double 3.5mm headphone jack, and a USB-A port. No USB-C charging facilities yet though, so you may want to bear that in mind. There were a couple of niggles. My husband's tray table was pretty scratched up, and both of our seat backs had these strange cracks near the tray table housing. One had a bit of tape slapped over it, the other was left exposed, which felt like a bit of a bodge job if I'm honest. Oh, and the seat pockets clearly hadn't been cleaned. We found sweet wrappers and other bits still lurking in there from the previous guests. Wi-Fi is available, you get free Wi-Fi messaging if you're a British Airways Club member, and you can also pay for packages if you want to use more data or stream on your device. So finally on board, and we're just waiting to push back. This was one of the flights I said to you comes from Buenos Aires, so already had quite a lot of passengers on board this, and whispering because quite a lot of people are already trying to get their head down, and as much as I try and bring you an authentic experience, I don't want to be responsible for waking up 100 people. But yeah, all on board and ready to push back shortly, and then we'll get on our way back to London Heathrow, albeit at this moment in time we're about 2.5 hours behind schedule. So I'll keep you posted and show you on this trip all the way back from Rio to London Heathrow's Terminal 5.
Smoking, including e-cigarettes, vaping, and the use of other smoking devices is not permitted at any time off the board, including the toilets, which has smoke detectors in them.
Good evening everyone, my name is Ivan. I'm the in-flight manager on this flight to London Heathrow. It is my pleasure to welcome you all on board today. A special welcome to those of you returning from the British Airways Club and those of you joining from Onboard World Alliance partners. May I remind you to keep your seatbelt fastened whenever you are seated. It must remain securely fastened whenever the seatbelt sign is on.
Now, I am a fan of the stark blue mood lighting that BA chose all those years ago for its aircraft. It does make you feel quite cosy, but it doesn't stay like that for long. Bang, there come those neon whites again. Whilst waiting for the service to start, I thought I'd check out the IFE. It's relatively touch responsive, a bit of lag here and there, but nothing too noticeable. Now, I really wanted to get into the Mayor of Kingstown. It's been on my watch list for a while, but it is beyond irritating that airlines do this. Why only load the first 3 episodes when season 1 has 10? It is really frustrating. The moving map is the usual, and no tail cameras on this 777-200 sadly. The headrest though is really comfortable and very adjustable according to your preferences. It articulates up and down, as well as creating a cradling effect when pushed in like this. So the crew have just come around with a drinks service, and that was probably one of the quickest drinks services I've ever experienced. 15 minutes after takeoff, straight round with the drinks, starting for the World Traveller Plus cabin, that's the premium economy cabin ahead of us, and then straight into economy, the World Traveller cabin. Drinks were great. I had a ginger ale. I love a bit of a ginger ale, me. No alcohol. I try to avoid drinking on night flights if I can. I always find it's not great for me if I'm going to try and get a bit of sleep later on and really put this seat through its paces. And I can smell some food as well. So we've been given no menu, but there's nothing on the IFE about the dinner service, so we don't know what we're getting. But what we do know is there'll be a choice of food. So as soon as the food service comes around, I'll show you what we get. A snack then appeared. Yes, the dreaded sour cream pretzels again. Please, BA, find something more imaginative. It's been years of the same now, and they just go to waste. this is the first time I'm having to do this properly, but this was the worst airline meal I've ever eaten in my life with any airline in any cabin. It was absolutely god-awful. I went for the cheese tomato pasta with peppers, and it was dreadful, absolutely dreadful. A really strong synthetic smell and taste to it. I took one bite and the lid's gone back on. The starter salad was a couscous salad with peppers and olives. I adore olives. I could eat them all day long. I love them. I know they're an acquired taste, but they had a strong sort of soapy taste to them, almost like they'd been washed in something or processed in something really, really bad. My husband had the chicken and rice, said that wasn't too bad. It was sort of palatable, probably the best thing on the plate on his tray. And then we both got served a chocolate sponge pudding, which, to call it chocolate, was a bit of a lie. It's like those old school dinner puddings you get, which are served with that watery custard, just bland and flavourless. The bread roll was like a golf ball. It was absolutely frozen solid. If you threw that at somebody, they'd be going to A&E. And then we got served 2 crackers with some cheese that just didn't taste like cheese, and a small bottle of water. So I've had a 250ml bottle of still water, 2 crackers, a very small pack of cream cheese, and an awful, awful chocolate cake. And that's me now for about 7 hours. And if I look around me, there's a lot of passengers on board this aircraft that have got the same opinion of the food. There's a lot of things that have gone untouched. They've tried it, put the lid back on. There's a lot of main meals going back. British Airways, you really need to look at this, because this is really poor. So time for another quick toilet review. Got to be quick, a bit of a queue behind me, but no, really clean on this flight. I've seen the crew go in and out quite a few times to clean the lavs, which is quite refreshing, because a lot of crews will just forget to do it. So kudos to this crew, because these are absolutely spotless. It's a good job we bought a bag of Lay's and stole a couple of cans of Pepsi Max, or Pepsi Black as it's known in South America, from the lounge earlier. We shared those, and then I decided to try and get a bit of sleep. Now, I do normally struggle to sleep in economy, so I couldn't really believe it when I'd woke up with just 2 hours of the flight remaining. My husband said I'd literally slept for 6 hours straight, so that's probably a testament to BA's economy seat. Well, hello. In a surprising turn of events, I managed to get about 6 hours solid sleep. So, I can't knock the seat, really. It's, kind of speaks for itself. If you can get a good 6 hours solid sleep on an overnight flight in economy, I think you're doing pretty well. I don't normally sleep at all, or I get very broken sleep when I fly economy, but I managed to sleep pretty much 6 hours straight through, so there's about 2 hours left before we land into London. Crew are bringing breakfast around. Let's see what we get today. One will assume eggs may feature. I'm willing to wager around 95%, but as soon as we get served that breakfast, I'll show you. And we're looking to land into Heathrow now at about 1 hour 20 late, so they've done a great job trying to make up that time, considering at one point in the day we were nearly 3 hours late. So, kudos to British Airways for trying to get us back on schedule. So yeah, it's a mixed bag, this one, isn't it? The food hasn't been good at all. I'm absolutely starving. I have literally had 2 crackers, a piece of cream cheese, and a very, very old school dinner chocolate cake kind of thing. But I think on a night flight, if you can get 6 hours sleep, it's kind of worth the trade-off. But breakfast is up. I'll show you what we get. So, 2 options for breakfast today. We've got a vegetarian omelette or a English breakfast, and having seen the vegetarian omelette on the Rome front, we both decided to go for the English breakfast. English breakfast consisted of roast potatoes, some tomatoes, some very, very odd eggs, sort of had a bit of cheese going through them maybe, I'm not too sure, and then some ham style bacon. I mean, it was dubbed as bacon, but it certainly wasn't bacon. It wasn't great, but you know, I've ate it because I'm so hungry. And the whole meal was absolutely swimming in fat. I've never seen anything like it. It really was. There was so much fat in the meal, so it wasn't at all palatable, really. But again, ate through sheer desperation. Choice of a drink from the bar, so primarily non-alcoholic drinks this time of the morning. I've not seen anybody go for any alcoholic drinks or tea, coffee, orange juice, that kind of thing. So I had an orange juice. There was a small pot of fruit salad, 2 pieces of pineapple, 2 pieces of melon, and a orange marmalade muffin, which out of all the things wasn't too bad, to be fair. I give that a 7 out of 10. Yeah, the catering is just slipping, and I don't know if it's in general with British Airways. I mean, we've flown BA way before I started doing these flight reviews, and the catering has always been very, well, always more miss than hit. And when I was at British Airways, there was a chef in charge called Mark Tazioli, and to be fair, I think that's when British Airways was probably at its peak for catering. You know, I think things really did reach an all-new high. But I think in recent times, certainly if it's a, you know, policy of cutbacks or changes or whatever, something really is amiss with the food options on board, the quality of food, and the portion sizing. It all seems to have took a bit of a spiral. So definitely something you can work on, British Airways, especially in your World Traveller cabins. Here endeth another trip report. About 50 minutes to land now into Heathrow, and arriving about 1 hour 50 minutes behind scheduled arrival time. So, you know, BA have certainly made up a little bit of that delay, considering it was close to 3 hours when we were waiting in Rio. Mixed bag this one, fairly comfortable flight, great sleep really, I can't knock that at all. But the food, on the other hand, was a real letdown on this flight. So my advice is, if you're doing this route, Rio to London or Buenos Aires to London, pack some food, because you'll need it. But it's been fun. Hope you've enjoyed coming on the ride. I'll try my very best to try and film something of the landing, proving quite difficult from these F&G seats here in the middle. But I hope nevertheless you enjoyed your time on board this flight back to London Heathrow, and I'll see you again in another trip report in the future.
A very warm welcome to London Heathrow Terminal 5, the home of British Airways. The local time here is coming up to 9:30 in the morning. Please remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened until the fasten seatbelt signs have been switched off. If you require any assistance here at Heathrow, please speak to our ground colleagues who will be happy to help. For those customers who have already ordered assistance to leave the aircraft today, please remain seated until the aisle around you is clear, and our crew will be on hand to assist you. Thank you, and a very good day to you all.
British Airways is such a real mixed bag. One minute you're feeling a sense of pride flying the flag, the next you're wondering how they got it so wrong. The food on this flight? Genuinely shocking. There's just no dressing it up. But credit where it's due, I did get 6 solid hours of uninterrupted sleep, which on a long haul in economy is no small win. As we touched down and made our way through the tunnels of Heathrow, I wasn't left impressed or inspired, just a little flat. And for an airline with so much history and heart, that's a real shame. As always, a big thanks to you for joining me on this journey. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you never miss another upload. Plenty more aviation, travel and hotel content coming your way. See you in the next one.